Mate, I'm tired. As we're getting into our upper brackets finals.
Yes, we are. And we are still in the best of threes. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in that top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our purple Protoss player. I forgot we had alliteration for this. He is sending out probes across the map. He is coming out from the land of Melbourne. Yes, Melbourne.
Yep.
Representing himself as he is currently teamless, we have our purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the red Zerg player himself. He just took down Temi 2-0. It is RiSky.
Oh, it's just a probe block.
Yeah. It's just a probe scout. Do not worry. Do not be concerned. But something that I am also not concerned about, but I'm very grateful for. Thank you so much, Chileno Singaporean in the chat for the 500 bits. Thank you so much again for all the support. Gracias, papi. Gracias.
That will go straight into the Mexican restaurant.
No. That'll go straight into Vindicta's bank account.
There we go. That will go straight to Vindicta's coffee.
Exactly. And yeah, I'm honestly, I'm really excited. Yeah, Ko-Fi, true. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Again, Pezz, you bring it up all the time, arguably has the best PvZ in the region. Better than Ranger, arguably better than Probe as well. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one here, a bit of a tough ask for RiSky.
Yeah, when it comes to Protoss players in Australia, I feel like Pezz was always a consistent top 2. Never necessarily number 1. I think for the longest time it was Probe, and there was a period of time where I would say Starduck was the number 1 Protoss player from Australia. But when it comes to the PvZ matchup specifically, Pezz has always dominated.
Oh yeah, he has always been the dominant force. He's been the player that we look at to bring down some of the other Southeast Asian Zerg tyrants, but we'll see if it is going to be enough here and now, especially because Pezz did let us know that he was a little bit tired, he was a little bit sleepy,
yep,
a little bit groggy.
Yeah. Well, for our players, man, they're playing with half a brain right now.
No, so are we. We're casting with half a brain.
Well, not, I was gonna say we're not playing, but then I'm like, oh right, we are having half a brain. We have half a brain and we have to share it.
We do, and ooh, Pezz is going for an opener that we have seen become a little bit more popular recently in the North American region. Pezz going for 2 more gates behind his first, going for a 3-gate opening.
Yeah, kind of eschewing the Oracle for the time being. Normally we see Adepts coming out for this, yeah?
Yes, we do see a wave of 6 Adepts typically coming out from this, and they do hit before Glaives. And if, of course, they ever get surrounded, if they ever get into hot water, we can always recall to bring them back home.
Yeah. What else are you going to be spending your Nexus energy on? Chrono Boost? Yeah, well, I guess you could.
You could. We do have a Twilight Council and a robot behind us as well. We imagine this will eventually be 4 Glaives. There we go, 3 more Adepts are being warped in. For the time being, only 5 in total because we did have a Stalker instead of a 6th Adept. And they're going to be moving out here across the map to clean up and face whatever they can. Again, this is all before Glaives. It's a bit of a preemptive or a way to kind of lead into that.
Yeah, but all those warped-in Adepts, though, was enough of a tell here for RiSky. Roachroin did get thrown down. He should be pretty safe here. He just needs to keep his eyes on these Shades and be able to surround them whenever he needs to.
Yeah, 1 Adept does go down, but for 2 drones and all those things, not a bad trade whatsoever. It does force a reaction out of RiSky, does force him to cut drones relatively early as well, and there is that recall that we were talking about, bringing everything back home. Ready to defend as, oh my god, even more gates are thrown down.
This is very committed. We got the Warp Prism coming in as well. We're not going to see a 3rd base, are we?
Nope.
Or 3rd Nexus.
Oh my, this is interesting. So this isn't just a 6-gate Glaive Adepts, which is what we both assumed was going to happen. The Madman throws down a Dark Shrine as well.
That's really... Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about commitment. I mean,
Ooh.
this is what's even further than commitment, but we do have a cheeky Overlord coming in.
Yeah, this is pretty important. So this isn't just a Glaive Adept all in. There are going to be DTs involved as well. It looks like this Stalker is a little bit too late. The Overlord will spot this, and RiSky should be throwing down some detection, should be throwing down some spores.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still definitely a opportunity here for Pezz to warp in a couple of... Yeah, I was going to say, warp in a couple of DTs, maybe try to snipe the spores, and then just wreak havoc from there.
For the time being, the Adepts, they don't commit to anything yet. It looks like, ooh, one Adept almost, yeah, one Adept is going to be going down here. So not the best trades. A lot of roaches are coming out. RiSky really responding quite well to this. Does commit to a shade now, but already pre-pulling the boys.
Yeah. So he may lose the Spore. He actually doesn't even lose the Spore. Finally losing a couple of drones, but could have been a lot worse. I say that. This natural base was a bit too vulnerable. That's a decent amount of workers. Actually, that's a lot of workers being taken out. Jeez.
Yeah, we even have a Warp Prism in the main base as well to warp it in the face of his opponent. Adepts are in towards the threat as well. The Queens are left behind. Transfuses will keep them alive for now, but Queens are going to start falling left and right. So you do see another shade just to get the hell out of here. And things are getting from bad to worse. DTs are coming in.
Yeah, that's some great body blocking there from RiSky. Pezz a little bit distracted, wasn't quite able to move and wasn't quite able to kill those drones, but still, we're looking at 48 probes versus 29 drones. It's pretty easy to see who has the economic advantage right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, the damage has been done. Pezz just eviscerated the economy here of RiSky. But what RiSky lacks in economy, he makes up for in roaches. He has quite a large army supply right now. If he wanted to, he could maybe even go for a counterattack. But if he did, I mean, the Prism is keeping him at home. He cannot ignore this. He cannot let it run wild.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very tough ask right now if you're RiSky trying to figure out what to do. I guess the safest course of action here is to just try to out macro your opponent, which he definitely can do. Pezz only now has thrown down his third Nexus. RiSky has a lot of larvae to work off of, and just like that, he's caught back up in the worker count.
Yeah, he has now caught back up for the most part. We do see him attempting to transition. Lair is done. We don't have Roach Speed yet, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I think this is an oversight by RiSky, because without Roach Speed, we can't really go for a counterattack, or it'll be a little bit awkward.
Yeah. I guess he is just trying to figure out what corners he can cut here just to be able to recover as quickly as possible. There we go. Galauer Constitution does get thrown down, or does get researched.
Yeah, definitely a little bit late here, and that is going to give Pezz plenty of time to establish this third base. What I mean by that, not just probe it up, but also get some shield batteries, get some more pylons, get a better defensive position here to engage RiSky once he does move out.
Yeah, Pezz right now, he knows that he just needs to defend the counterattack, and he's going to maintain such a huge lead economically and also in terms of tech.
Exactly.
But actually, he's pushing out.
Yeah, he wants to be in his face. A blink is done. +1 attack for the Protoss is still a ways off, so that's not really going to come into play for this initial engagement, but we already see a lot of the creep being cleaned up here, making this next follow-up push that much more difficult for RiSky.
Yeah, especially without Roach Speed. The choke point's also becoming a little bit less choky, a little bit more open, and this is exactly where Pezz wants to fight. RiSky not taking the bait. Trying to bait Pezz in, actually.
Yeah, exactly. You see the blinks are quite solid here from Pezz. A lot of roaches are getting slowly picked off one after the other. So far, decent trades, but at the same time, pushing into this concave is always a difficult thing to do. Oh.
Yeah, but it's a risk that you can afford to take when you do have blink.
Definitely. As all this is happening, we do see that RiSky is expanding and taking another base. I do think that maybe this is a bit of a misstep here by Pezz. He could maybe even be denying that base if he had rotated over towards the right-hand side, but instead he just wants to take a big army engagement.
Yeah, good on RiSky for taking advantage of the fact that... How did none of those biles... What?
The Observer is immortal, Poppy. It barely does survive this. I spoke too soon. Survived the first volley, but gets cleaned up by the second here, as Pezz now doesn't have detection to clean up this creep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's really going to spread out from here. Not with the army breathing down RiSky's neck, but yeah, he would definitely like to recede it a little bit more. Loses one Archon. And RiSky goes for a massive run by.
Yeah, and it looks like the pylon will barely survive long enough for these Stalkers to finish up, but Lings against Stalkers, hey, you never want to see that. The Lings are going to be able to clean this up, and it forces Pezz to pull all the way back home to hold on to his fourth.
Yeah, at the very least, you could say that at least he has a fourth, but yeah, the window of opportunity for Pezz to have crippled the Zerg economy has passed. We're going into a bit of a longer game now.
Yeah, exactly. RiSky has now recovered. He's got his fourth base up and running. It's getting fully saturated. We have +1 on the way. Baneling Nest as well. I will say that our upgrades are lacking here for the Zerg player, so I still want to give the edge a little bit to Pezz when it comes to overall army quality. But what about the quantity? Because RiSky is maxed.
He is maxed, and he could go across the map and try to make full advantage of it if he so wanted to. I mean, he's going to have to sooner or later. He's transitioning out, he's getting the tech that he needs for more of a mid-game army. And that army does not involve Roaches and Ravagers, or at least not this many of them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're really lacking any kind of splash damage. We need some disruptors here. We do see Pezz trying to engage on the edge of creep. Is going to shave off a couple of units. At the same time, these slow lots do force a cancel here on this hatchery. Oh, that was actually a kill.
Oh, nicely done. They do bruise up a couple of roaches before they get taken out as well. Pezz still trying to see what he can get away with, but he may need to calm down a little bit. He is still far behind when it comes to the army supply.
Yeah, we do have the Bay, but we don't have any disruptors. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Pezz. He needs to get into disruptor production sooner rather than later, or any kind of splash damage, really. There we go, the first disruptor is on the way. We still only have one robo. There we go, second robo just now being thrown down.
Yeah, that's definitely going to shore up the production a little bit. Nice aggression here with the Stalkers, but unfortunately he did leave his Archons a little bit too exposed.
Yeah, just a little bit, as once again Pezz, he's just testing the waters. I do like this because he's not really committing, he's just forcing RiSky to stay at home, and RiSky has been maxed out for the past couple of minutes, you know, like he's had a pretty large army, he just hasn't really been able to make use of it because of the constant aggression from Pezz. Oh.
Yeah, but that constant aggression from Pezz is starting to crack a little bit. See a massive army advantage right now for RiSky. Pezz, though, still doing a really good job of trying to split RiSky's attention. Like you said, there's a massive army, but it has to be split in two.
It really does, and RiSky just doesn't feel too confident enough to really engage. We do see +1 melee finishing up. We have more Lings on the way. Here we go. Finally, RiSky is going to move out across the map.
And this is it. This is a push out that has to deal damage, or at least trade evenly with the army of Pezz.
Yeah, I do worry a little bit here that Pezz doesn't have enough to defend. He only has a single shield battery. Overcharge sure is great and all, but where is the rest of the army? Where are the disruptors?
Look, you don't need disruptors. You've got DTs. No, apparently you do.
You really do. We do have the other force trying to break on through, but RiSky has split up his army successfully enough. He has so much Roach Ravager.
Decent Purification Novas. I mean, they take out a couple of units, which is going to be enough for Pezz to hold on and keep this going.
Yeah, he blinks on forward and he takes down, a couple of Ravagers, does lose a Stalker in the process. His army on the left-hand side was thrown away, by the way. In the end, it was cleaned up by RiSky, and Pezz, his army supply did just plummet for a moment.
Yeah, a split second going on there.
Yeah, he needs more time to recover. He has half the army supply of RiSky, and he's getting ready. He's mustering his forces for another push. We see Hydras on the way. We see a Lurker Den on the horizon. Just RiSky's army is just getting better and better.
Yeah. Take note of the supplies. I mean, as much as it does seem like Pezz has been trading efficiently, he just hasn't really been able to produce a bunch of anything. So we're at a state where RiSky perpetually has, what, 30, 40 supply over Pezz each and every time.
Yeah, exactly. And soon, especially with the addition of Lurkers, like that just may be the nail in the coffin. We saw Demi GG out once the Lurkers were revealed, and I wonder if we're going to see the same here for Pezz. Like, he can definitely respond, but right now he's just so busy dealing with all these Ling run-bys. RiSky is free to just take more bases and drone them up and get saturated, throw down more spine crawlers, and here we go. 16 lurkers, mate.
That's gonna be tough to deal with, let me tell you.
That's a lot of lunkers, Papi. Aye, aye, aye. We see a couple of Novas going off. Decent connections. 2 Ravagers will go down. We have 3 more Novas that came from.
And a couple of lunkers already land. Ooh, Purification Novas are popping left and right. But they're not popping on the lurkers, which is the important unit.
Yeah, that's the thing. He gets a lot of roaches. He gets a lot of hydras, which is nice. But what about these lurkers? We need something more here. We need to see Suna transition into Skytels. And the problem is that I know that Pezz does not enjoy that. You can deal with this army composition with disruptors, but Vipers change that dynamic, and Vipers are coming.
Oh. Yeah. Gonna take a little while for them to suck up energy. But once they do, yeah, those disruptors are gonna be in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, they really were. 2 more Novas going to be going off here, taking down 1 more lurker. But again, if Pezz overstays his welcome, then RiSky is going to look to try and surround his army. There we go.
Yeah,
he's
exactly
doing it.
what he's...
Yeah, he's swallowing his pride. 3 Stargates are thrown down.
Tempests are on the way. And carriers.
Tempest, carriers, but everything you need, mate. Even the -400, -400. So Pezz is transitioning into Skytos. Maybe not something that he wants to do, but something that is necessary at the same time. A massive Ling runway that was on the wall.
No! Oh, man. This could just about be the killing blow right now for Pezz. All of these Lings are getting surrounded on top of just about all of the infrastructure. That's a single pylon.
That is a single pylon here. We just see the harassing lurker is going to get cleaned up. The entire army of Pezz turns around to deal with this. Look how much of the production is going down.
Just about all of it. And this is before adrenal glands, mind you.
That it is. The Lings are going to get cleaned up, but again, RiSky bought a lot of breathing room, and RiSky even got a full scout of the main base. He does see the Stargates. He recognizes what is coming his way.
Uh-oh. And he is producing as many Hydras as possible to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. We see a bit of a lurker run by here, just completely denying any kind of mining. Meanwhile, we do see the disruptors getting a little bit caught out. Everyone's getting caught out. Here come the yoinks.
Just as the Purification Novas get popped, all of them get taken out. Except 1, but what are you going to do with 1 disruptor?
Yeah, exactly. Only 1 disruptor survives there. Once again, Pezz is being pulled apart right now. Does he even have detection to deal with this? Looks like he does have that observer. He saves his base. He saves a lot of his probes as well. But it takes so long to make carriers, and the first carrier just now starts.
Yeah, it takes so long to make carriers. It takes a lot of money to make carriers. Pezz, I'm not convinced he's got a strong enough economic position until he, resaturates his bases.
Yeah, he needs to buy time right now. We'll see if he can do so. We do see another Nova going off. Oh, it does only connect with a single Hydra, and RiSky's forcing himself in.
Yeah, that Nova gets a couple of units, but nowhere near enough as he needs that Purification Nova. Connect it with Stalkers rather than Hydras.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire there by Pezz, and these lurkers mean that this area is no man's land. He cannot get in between his bases. This is Zerg territory.
Well, we'll see if the carriers can change things here, but man, RiSky is in absolute control of the situation right now. Like you said, there's just nothing Pezz can do until these carriers pop out, and there's nothing those carriers can do anyway. GG, RiSky takes game number 1.
GG, well played. Surviving long enough to get into those lurkers, and Pezz just wasn't really ready for that transition. Ay. And yeah, with that, we did just get notified Pezz is going to forfeit here against RiSky.
Yeah, 12:30 a.m. on a Monday.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to forfeit over here, which means RiSky is gonna be our first player in a qualifying match.
Boy, he will. And Oh boy, it looks like RiSky, he's going to be waiting in the upper bracket finals. It looks like Pezz is going to be forfeiting his lower match as well. And yeah, that kind of opens things up here. Piglet, Zane, and Runamuck. Those are the three that are going to be fighting. And Demi as well, to be fair. You're going to be fighting for that spot.
Wait, yeah, wait. Yes! Wait. Okay, so how does this work? Okay, so winner of Piglet versus Demi goes up against winner of Zane versus Runamuck. And then the winner of that go to qualifying match. Okay, we've mathed it out. Have indeed mathed it out.
Oh, exactly. So we'll see where things are at the moment. It looks like Piglet and Demi are 6 minutes into their current game, and Runamuck versus Zane are also in game as well. So yeah, we just have to wait a little bit. The other unfortunate thing is that we need the challenge page to be updated here.
Yeah. Just update our admins coming in here. And know how to what to call it? What to update? There we go. Got distracted catching up with chat. I apologize.
Oh good. Oh good. Oh, yeah, just chat catching up with everything that's been going on, and yeah, with that we have our last remaining players.
Yeah. So look-see over here. Yeah, Runamuck, Zane, Demi, and Piglet.
Yeah, again, a little bit unfortunate that Pezz did have to bow out. Like, he's an amazing player. I was really looking forward to this, but the qualifier has been going on for a very long time. And Pezz, I'm sure...
3.5 hours.
Yeah, 3.5 hours already, and I'm sure by now Pezz would have thought like we'd get like into the qualifying match or something. Yeah. A lot of these games have been going on quite long.
Mm-hmm.